皆さん、こんにちは。高巻です。I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to explain a grammar point of lesson 5. So I'm going to use a slide as usual. So we have a couple of really important points, one of the highlights of Japanese 1 class, which I'm going to teach today or explain. So one is about adjectives. So there are two types of adjectives, and adjectives are the word that explains nouns such as difficult or beautiful or scary. So Japanese adjectives come in two types. One is e adjectives, and the other is na adjectives. And they're both adjectives in meanings in English, but they change when we make sentences. They change a little bit differently, whether it's ni adjectives or na adjectives. So I want to explain that. So e adjectives ends with, as the name indicates, e. And we already know some e adjectives, and we already learned them in the past, such as takai, takai desu. So something is expensive, or ii, ii desu, which means good. Or I think we did this in earlier lesson. Oishii, delicious. Oishii. In those e adjectives, you can add des to make a polite sentence. So takai desu, expensive. Ii desu, it's good. And oishii desu, something is delicious. And as I said, you can add this to make this type of adjective into a sentence. And it's affirmative and it means imperfective. So it is, or maybe they are. And by changing this part, you can make negative sentence like it's not expensive, or past tense, it was expensive, or past tense negative, it wasn't. So I'll show you how to do that. So if you just say oishii, then you are talking to a friend. Okay, right here to a friend. Sorry about this. But if you add this, then it's the same meaning. You're saying it's delicious, but it's just more polite speech. And you can use this to anybody you speak with, even someone older than you or someone you don't know very well. So this is the form with this is a safer, way to explain somebody, something is an adjective. So this is the conjugation. So this is how this part changes. So e adjectives, they all end with e. So we start with this. And so takai desu. And then negative, if you notice, all the negatives, whether it's imperfective tense or perfective, it's going to be ku something. And when you put ku, be careful, you're going to get rid of i. So takai will become takaku. And then you put nai desu, arimasen. For imperfective, so you're saying it is not. And if you want to say it was not, then you need to change it to still takaku, but the ending change it to nakatta desu. Or arimasen deshita. And if you want to say it was expensive, then you're going to, again, get rid of e, but change that to katta desu. Make sure this two is small, so you're saying katta, double T. So this is how it looks if we're to use takai, expensive, for an example. So it is expensive, takai desu. It's not expensive. We have two ways. Takaku nai desu. Takaku arimasen, which we learned in a previous lesson. So these are new. It was expensive, takakatta desu. Takakatta desu. And it wasn't expensive. We have two ways. 高くなかったです。高くありませんでした。So all the e adjectives change this way, except e. which is irregular. So, I desu. After that, after this box, all the other ones, you change I, the first I, to yo. You still get rid of the latter I, so that's the same. But instead of ikunai, we say yokunai desu. Yoku arimasen. Yokatta desu. Yoku nakatta desu. Yoku arimasen deshita. Okay, so this is the only irregular I adjectives. Other one, the change is like takai. So I hope you will start practicing, and there are some exercises that you can practice these changes. Let's talk about na adjectives. So na adjectives, as you saw in the vocabulary, so words like ski, like you like something, or kirai, you don't like something, or kirei, it's pretty or it's clean, or genki, someone is energetic. Those are not adjectives. And if it's a not adjective, then you don't have to have not when you make a sentence. You would say, okay, so I can show you using genki. So you're energetic, someone is healthy, genki desu. So you don't worry about na. You just say genki and then desu. And unlike e adjectives, which we had ku, we're going to use ja. So this is really the same conjugation as nouns. All right. So if you're not well, 元気じゃないです。元気じゃありません。And if you were healthy, if you were well, then this changes to でした。元気でした。Someone was well, but maybe not anymore. And that person was not well, then 元気じゃなかったです。元気じゃありませんでした。So na adjectives do not have any irregular. So if it's na adjectives, then they all change this way. The ending is des, じゃないです、じゃありません、でした、じゃなかったです、じゃありませんでした。So these two charts compare the e adjectives on the right and na adjectives on the left. So you can see, affirmative imperfective is des. But notice e adjective has e, and then they change a little bit differently. A lot of it is the same ending, but the connecting sounds for e adjective is ku, na adjective is ja, and also right here is very different. It was well, then it's deshita. But it was expensive, then you have to go katta desu, takakatta desu. And when you're saying these, you do have to say something before ides or katta desu. Just by saying katta desu, it doesn't mean it was something. You have to say what, because this taka part or genki part, those are the one that tells me, oh, you're talking something about expensive or something about someone being well. So you do have to say the whole thing. All right, so you can try in the textbook, page 138 and 39, there are a lot of pictures, and you can change it to a negative or you can change it to a past tense. So, please try these exercises. There's another exercise, 139 page, and then if you look at C, you can try different conjugations. So, and these are the English translation of these questions. So I hope you will try answering these. Okay, let's talk about how to elevate these adjective qualities by saying とても、すごく. So both of them mean very much. とても means very, すごく means extremely. すごく is more casual, as I explained to you when we were learning new vocabulary. And ちょっと, as you know, it's a little bit. So in order to say something is very expensive or something is very, very good looking, you can just put とても、すごく before the adjectives, whether it's the adjectives or not adjective. So this one, 沖縄の海はすごく綺麗です。or とても綺麗です。You can't use both of them at the same time, so choose one. But it means Okinawa, the ocean in Okinawa is very pretty. Instead of just 綺麗です, you can say すごく綺麗です or とても綺麗です. So that's kind of same word order as English. So very pretty. Okay, so not much different. Or if you want to say it's a little bit something. この部屋はちょっと暑いですね. Then ちょっと暑い means a little bit hot. All right, so maybe we need to open windows or something. All right, so just to know, these words, you can talk about different qualities, and you can put these words before adjectives. All right, so this is just showing past tense. So 寒いです. I'm cold. But if you change it to 寒かったです, then I was cold. All right. And 寒くなかったです, that would be negative past tense. All right. So these parts are new. So I wanted to make special slide to show you. And negative has two ways two sentences. なかったです is one. ありませんでした is the other. And what about not adjectives? So something is pretty, 綺麗です. Something was pretty, 綺麗でした. And it wasn't pretty, then it changed to じゃなかったです. じゃありませんでした. So these are the ending for 綺麗 or and other not adjectives. And as we saw, okay, actually, well, that's okay, where I was talking about とても. So now, if you want to say, not just 面白いです, right? Something that's interesting. If you want to say interesting movie, right? Adjective, noun. Then you can just use the same order as English. 面白い映画. If you're using e adjective to describe a noun, you can just use e. You don't need any other connection. Like remember, if it's a noun, you needed no. But e is a connection enough, so you don't have to have any word here. 面白い映画. You can say 面白い映画です. Then that is an interesting movie. If you want to say pretty photographs, here, this is when you have to use na if you are using na adjectives. So 綺麗 is a na adjective. So you cannot say 綺麗写真. That sounds a little bit something is missing, which is not. So you have to say 綺麗な写真. 綺麗な写真. So you have to say that. So for example, this is a sentence. 坂巻さんは怖い先生です. So Miss Sakamaki is 怖い先生. So this is an adjective, e adjective, so there's nothing in between, and then you are directly using noun, which is sensei. So I don't know if you agree with me or not, but it's a sentence. Sakamaki-san is a strict or scary teacher. So strict teacher, scary teacher. That's how we would put the words. So adjectives and nouns. So let's look at how you can use 好き, like, 嫌い, dislike, or favorite or dislike. These are nouns or these are adjectives actually. It's not a verb. So we don't have a verb to say I like something or I dislike something. We just say something is my favorite or something is my dislike. But if you can also say favorite music or the vegetable that you don't like. All right, so you can use na. All right, so we actually learned this. This is when you say 好きです or 好きでした. So 好き is the end of the sentence. 嫌い is the same way. However, if you want to say scary movie, right, like here, scary movie, 怖い映画, okay, then が好きです。All right, and then メアリーさんは野菜が嫌いです。So this one is 好きです、嫌いです。The sentences are not adjective sentences, but you can also use this. Say something like this. 好きな映画は怖い映画です。So your or my favorite movies are scary movies. So this one you want to say favorite movie, then you can't say 好き映画. You have to say 好きな映画 because it's a non adjective. And if you want to say, I don't really care one way or the other, if you feel neutral about the topic, you can say this. 好きでも嫌いでもないです. And this has a little bit of grammar that we are not learning right now. So you're going to have to, if you want to use this, you can go ahead and memorize the whole thing. But you can still see 好き, right? 嫌い, ないです. So you're saying neither. It's my favorite or dislike. And you can say something like これは. So you're looking, you have a book and say 私の, it's my. 私 is a regular noun, so you need no. And 好き is a non-adjective, so before you say book, 本, you have to say 好きな本です. And it translates to this is my favorite book. All right, so there is one practice you can try on page 143, 143 page. And this one asks, what kind of something do you like? So these are very safe personal questions you can ask. So you can say, what kind of sports do you like? What kind of food? What kind of drinks? What kind of fruit? So you can try asking these questions. For example, if you want to say sports, Japanese it is almost the same. Sports. So right here in X, you can put sports. You can put some kind of a category. どんなスポーツが好きですか? And as an answer, you can say テニスが好きです. You're saying tennis is my favorite. Okay, so that was about ski. And go about number 5, if you say with the verb stem, so stem is a form, think of mas form and take out mas, then that's your verb stem. And instead of mas, if you say masho or mashoka, and that means if it's a masho, then you're saying let's. So if it's a casual invitation or suggestion, let's go have ice cream. You know? Or if you put ka, the question, then it'll become shall we? It's a little more question, but it's still nice casual suggestion, not too direct, so you can say that. As we looked at before, if we say masenka, then that's a polite, very polite invitation. This is more of a suggestion. All right, so if you say 一緒に図書館で勉強しましょうか? Then you're saying, shall we study in the library together? So that person can say, 行きましょう, let's go. Or いいですね. Oh, that's good. I like the idea. Or if you don't want to do this, then you can say, いいえ、ちょっと, it's a little bit inconvenient. Okay. And of course, if you want to make a polite invitation, instead of しましょうか, you can say しませんか. So now we know how to invite someone or suggest someone to do something in a couple other ways. All right, so practice 5, you can practice different things. So these are the situations, and you can suggest different things. Like, okay, 1番, if it's hot, 暑いですね. Maybe we can say something like, ああ、じゃあ、アイスクリームを食べましょう。Let's eat some ice cream. Okay? How about number two, 2番。12時ですよ. It's 12 o'clock. Okay? What would you say? What would you suggest? Maybe 昼ご飯を食べましょう. Let's eat lunch. So think about what you could say in situation 3, situation 4, 5, and 6. All right, and come up with a suggestion that you can make. Number 6, grammar point number 6 is about counting. So this is one of the things that English is a little easier. Japanese is a little bit more complicated. When we count, we can't say, well, in English, you would say 1 pen, 2 pens, just number and a noun. But in Japanese, we're going to say the item, okay, like pen or T-shirts. And then you say number after that. And then you have to use some kind of a counter, depending on what they look like. So T-shirts is something flat and thin. So we use this counter, might. So we use that with a number. So one sheet, if you will, would be 1枚. Two of them, 2 sheets, 2枚. Okay. And 3 sheets, 3枚. So essentially, we're counting T-shirts like paper. We're saying 3 sheets of T-shirts. And so that's how we count. So we would say T-shirts 3枚. And this mai is only for thin and flat things. So if you're counting pens, you cannot use mai. We have to know another way of counting. And you actually know some other counting. For example, ban, ichiban, number 1, niban, number 2. So we already know that. Or page, we know how to count page. 1 page, 2 page, right? So, or how about if you're counting money, Japanese yen, 1 yen, 2 yen. So you already know how to do this part, number and a counter. We just have to know more counter for different counting different object. And they go by the size and also the type of object. Is it round? Is it thin? Is it long? Things like that. And just be careful that the nouns, the item that you're counting, that comes at the beginning. All right. And as it says here, if you look at page 38 and 380 and 381, very, very back of the Genki 1 book, you can see common counters. So, you don't have to learn them, but you might be curious to see, okay, how do I count bound objects like books? Or how do I count pens, something cylindrical? Okay. Or how do I count persons? Or how do I count dogs? So they list that so you can see it. And a little bit more about counting. When you use a particle about the item and you're saying the number, you can insert the particle right after the noun, not after the number you're counting. So if you're saying, I bought 3 t-shirts, then we're going to say T-shirts o. So o comes here. T-shirts o 3枚買いました. So you might think, okay, T-shirts 3枚を買いました. But no, this information about quantity to us, to Japanese grammar structure, it's an extra thing. So it doesn't have any particle. It's just there, right? So the main element of this sentence is T-shirts を買いました. I bought t-shirts. We don't really care about how many you bought. But if you want to tell me that, that's some might. But that comes in between. That's right after the noun. And literal translation of this is, I bought t-shirts to the extent of 3 sheets. All right. So, it's such a roundabout way of saying I bought 3 t-shirts, but that's just how Japanese language is set up. So, T シャツを3枚買いました。No particle here. All right. So that is the explanation of lesson 5 grammar points. And make sure that you read also the textbook pages. I would write the page numbers. I would like you to read on the announcements. But I tried to kind of break down the grammar points a little bit more. So I hope you will review this if you have any questions as you are reading the pages. And of course, if you still have questions, please ask. And I will see you in the next class. お疲れ様でした。